The ongoing clash between 50 Cent and T.I. has now escalated beyond just music, dragging their families into the spotlight and even hinting at old legal battles, sending the internet into a frenzy. 50 Cent has dropped hints about a documentary that could expose the past of T.I. and Tiny, and right in the eye of this storm is King Harris. Let's break down the chain of events that pulled 50 Cent, T.I., and King Harris into this high-stakes drama. To fully grasp the roots of this feud, we need to rewind to Versus. The simmering tension between 50 Cent and T.I. finally erupted over a battle that never took place. Diss tracks, social media shots, and heated comments followed. Originally, Versus was meant to settle rivalries, not ignite them. The spark for today's chaos goes back to the COVID-19 pandemic, when T.I. repeatedly challenged 50 Cent to a battle, but the G-Unit mogul largely ignored him, brushing off his requests. Fast forward to 2026. In February, talks of Versus resurfaced when T.I. appeared on $1 million worth of Game, bringing the subject back into public discussion. This time, however, T.I. clarified that he and 50 Cent had privately agreed to a battle. While both were busy navigating Hollywood TV and film deals, T.I. revealed that 50 Cent seemed on board behind closed doors, but publicly, he played a different tune on social media. That double game was what fueled T's frustration. He didn't hold anything back. He detailed the private conversations, the shared plans, and the agreement they supposedly had. Yet when the moment came to go public, 50 Cent acted as if nothing had been discussed. That pretense lit the fuse. On $1 million worth of Game, T.I. explained that the Versus matchup wasn't about clashing, it was meant to celebrate each other's catalogs. According to him, they had an understanding, and T.I. was set to announce it publicly. But when he did, 50 Cent feigned ignorance. That moment broke T.I. Feeling deceived, he saw 50 Cent as having promised one thing privately while denying it openly. For a man who calls himself the King of the South, that was deeply personal. The rivalry between T.I. and 50 Cent isn't something new. It stretches all the way back to the early and mid-2000s, when 50 Cent subtly called T.I. a snitch on a track. From that moment, their relationship has been rocky at best. This tension isn't recent, it's nearly 2 decades in the making. The Versus situation just tore open a wound that had never truly healed. The feud arguably began in 2006, when both rappers were at the peak of their careers. While it never escalated into an all-out war, there were unmistakable signs of dislike. Subtle shots in interviews, sly jabs in songs, they kept things simmering. Private settlements seemed to keep the peace, or at least that's what everyone assumed. But the Versus controversy brought everything back to the surface, and this time it went far beyond expectations. A single statement from 50 Cent, the "what you know" line, sparked fire under T.I., and soon their social media exchanges turned ugly. 50 Cent played to his strengths, trolling, posting memes, and throwing below-the-belt shots. But he didn't step into the booth. No diss tracks came from him. Instead, he went after more than just T.I. He dragged T's wife, the singer Tiny, into the fray. This drew T's children into the conflict, with them firing back about 50 Cent's childhood and even referencing his deceased mother. That's when this beef morphed into something entirely different. Once family became involved, the stakes skyrocketed. T.I. wasn't just defending himself anymore, he was defending his wife, and his sons were ready to fight back. Recently, T.I. reignited his side of the feud with a string of diss tracks aimed at 50 Cent, all unanswered by the G-Unit mogul. On March 3rd, during his appearance on the Ebro Laura Rosenberg show, T.I. spoke extensively about the beef, including his kids' involvement. T.I. dropped multiple tracks, including War and The Right One, leaving no punches pulled. In terms of rapping, the feud has been entirely one-sided, T.I. stacking diss tracks relentlessly, while 50 Cent sticks to memes, trolling, and social media maneuvers instead of recording. So while T.I. is hitting hard in the studio, 50 Cent is playing the digital game, and the Harris kids are gearing up to jump into the chaos. This is the point where King Harris steps into the spotlight. King, the son of T.I. and Tamika "Tiny" Harris, has been a familiar face in the public eye since childhood. Fans first met him on the family's reality show, where even as a young boy, he stood out. But growing up under the constant gaze of cameras came with its challenges. From the beginning, King Harris captivated audiences with his playful, fearless personality, sharp wit, and mischievous energy. He was charming, bold, and unforgettable among the Harris children. Yet as he grew older, that same boldness took a different turn. By his teenage years, headlines about King rarely highlighted talent or achievements. They focused on his temper. Viral clips showed him clashing with strangers, lashing out during Instagram lives, and flexing a toughness that concerned fans. King grew up with something to prove. A family friend revealed that he refused to be shaped by anyone, determined to show the world he wasn't just T's son. He wanted to live fiercely, speak boldly, and prove he was stronger than the life he was born into. That mindset fueled several public incidents. In September 2022, King Harris was involved in a heated verbal clash at a Waffle House in Atlanta, which went viral online. His parents later spoke publicly, defending him while acknowledging the challenges of growing up in front of millions of viewers. That was only the beginning. In November 2023, King made headlines again after a widely shared argument with his father, T.I., during a live-streamed family event. The dispute erupted during an Atlanta Falcons football game when King went live on Instagram, challenging both of his parents over his upbringing. He claimed he had been raised mostly by his grandmother, not surrounded by luxury, a statement immediately disputed by T.I. and Tamika "Tiny" Harris in real time. Pause for a moment and picture this: King Harris, on a live stream, telling the world he wasn't raised with a silver spoon while his father is right there contradicting him, all under the watchful eye of the internet. This is the reality King has been living. Constant scrutiny, every mistake amplified, every disagreement broadcasted to millions. Then came the moment that pushed King Harris over the edge. When 50 Cent targeted his mother, King wasn't going to stay silent. 50 Cent responded by posting an unflattering photo of T's wife, Tamika "Tiny" Harris, captioned, "I keep saying, keep my name out your mouth, okay?" He followed up with another post, because, of course, it's 50 Cent, never letting things slide, yet never fully engaging either. He shared images of King with his mother, adding, "God don't like ugly." That line crossed every limit for King. Stepping into the fray to defend his mother, King Harris didn't stop there. Since family had become fair game, he took it further, calling out 50 Cent's late mother, who had passed away when 50 was just 8 years old. On Instagram, King was raw, direct, and unapologetic, leaving the internet buzzing. He then escalated things even more. King Harris released a song and video, featuring himself in a t-shirt printed with 50 Cent's mother's face. Rick Ross, who has his own history with 50 Cent, supported the move, commenting, "Need Dad T and a 3x lil bro." Even T.I., the trap pioneer, admitted that the situation had gone too far. He never wanted his children dragging a deceased woman's name into a rap war. But by the time he intervened, the fallout had already begun. What was once a rivalry between two rappers had now taken on a generational scale. This wasn't just about 50 Cent and T.I. anymore, it was about families. King Harris had already been facing his own struggles before this feud erupted. His legal record tells a story of its own. The son of music legends T.I. and Tiny, King Harris ignited debate online when he ran into trouble with the law in August 2022. On Wednesday, August 31st, he shared on social media that he had been arrested. His mugshot circulated widely, and he later went live on Instagram to give his side of the story. The backlash against King Harris intensified when social media caught wind that his recent arrest was over the seemingly minor offense of not wearing a seatbelt. Online, people weren't sympathetic. To them, he was just another privileged kid choosing to live recklessly. Even his father, T.I., spoke out, warning, if he keeps this up, his eyes are going to prison. During an Instagram live, the Atlanta rapper admitted, "Ain't no way around it. Ain't nothing I'ma be able to do about it." He recognized the path his son was on, because he had walked it himself. T.I. described King as a good kid, but one chasing the wrong side of life. Unfortunately, the warnings didn't stick. King Harris had already racked up charges in August 2022 for speeding, knowingly driving on a suspended license, and driving under the influence of drugs. By September 2024, an arraignment notice was returned, and a bench warrant was issued when he failed to appear in court. The legal trouble didn't end there. In October 2024, the young hip-hop scion found himself in trouble once again after nearly colliding with a police cruiser in Dunwee, Georgia on Monday, October 14th. The arresting officers' report detailed that King had almost hit the patrol car while leaving a gas station. When approached, the officer smelled marijuana, and upon inspection, found King Harris carrying a firearm on his hip, removed safely without incident. After checking his records, authorities discovered that King Harris had an active warrant tied to his 2022 run-ins, covering speeding, driving on a suspended license, and DUI, issued after he failed to appear in court. The arresting officer detailed the procedure in the incident report. King was cooperative, the firearm on his hip was removed safely, and he was handcuffed, patted down, and escorted to the patrol vehicle before being taken to DeKalb County Jail. This wasn't even his first brush with the law. Earlier, in January 2023, King had been jailed on 4 charges after refusing a police request for a blood test. By the time the October 2024 incident unfolded, a pattern had clearly formed. The son of T.I., King Harris, was facing legal troubles again in Georgia, all amid a complicated personal period. Just weeks later, in November, King and the mother of his child welcomed a newborn son into the world. Around the same time, he released a heartfelt track titled Dear Son, dedicated to his baby boy. King was stepping into fatherhood while juggling warrants, arrests, and mounting legal pressure. Meanwhile, his music career under the stage name Kid Sion was starting to gain momentum. Since 2020, he had been exploring trap and melodic hip-hop with initial singles, followed by an EP in 2021 that marked his transition from reality TV personality to recording artist. T.I. tried to guide him, confronting King about flaunting firearms in music videos. The King of the South even posted a viral video rebuking his son for waving a gun on set. King defended his actions, insisting it wasn't illegal, but T.I. replied, "Well, the way you're portraying this lifestyle, this doesn't look legitimate, sir." Having walked this road himself, T.I. was determined to steer King away from the same pitfalls. This is where T's past becomes crucial. Because when 50 Cent threatens to put T.I. behind bars, he's not just talking hypothetically, he's referencing a history that's well documented and hard to ignore. T.I. is no stranger to the legal system. He has navigated it multiple times over the years. Back in 1998, he was arrested and convicted in Georgia for cocaine distribution, manufacturing a controlled substance, and giving authorities a false identity. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison, the beginning of a long and complicated legal journey. After serving his time, T.I. emerged with a determination to build a career, and he succeeded, rising to become one of the top rappers in the nation. However, in 2007, his life hit another major hurdle. On October 13, 2007, federal authorities arrested T.I. just 4 hours before the BET Hip Hop Awards in Atlanta. He faced 2 felonies, possession of 3 unregistered machine guns and 2 silencers, and possession of firearms as a convicted felon. The arrest came after a federal sting operation, where his own bodyguard, acting as an informant, delivered the weapons. Prosecutors claimed that T.I. had given the bodyguard $12,000 to purchase the firearms. The potential consequences were severe, up to 10 years in prison and a $250,000 fine per charge across 3 counts. Yet, T.I. did not serve the maximum sentence. In Atlanta federal court, he received 1 year and 1 day in prison along with a $1,300 fine for the weapons charges. This stark difference between the potential maximum and what he actually served fueled decades-long allegations. Arrested for attempting to buy machine guns and silencers, T.I. had negotiated a plea deal, serving only a fraction of the potential sentence. From that moment, 50 Cent began publicly labeling T.I. a snitch, accusing him of cooperating with authorities, a claim that would continue to stoke their long-running feud for years to come. That was the spark that ignited the long-standing friction between 50 Cent and T.I. In 50 Cent's eyes, the numbers didn't add up, 10 years reduced to just 1. To him, that was a clear sign of cooperation with the authorities. For many, T.I. serving only a year after being set up in a sting operation, buying multiple guns with silencers, was proof enough that he had snitched. T.I. consistently denied these claims. His supporters highlighted that he had completed extensive community service, received endorsements from prominent public figures, and secured an unusual, but legal, plea deal. For his court hearing, T's attorneys submitted over 100 letters from officials praising his post-arrest community work. One of these letters came from Georgia Supreme Court Chief Justice Leah Ward Sears, who commended T.I. for educating teenagers about staying out of trouble. Yet, despite all this, the snitch label stuck, and 50 Cent has wielded it relentlessly for years. Then came September 2010. T.I. faced prison again in Los Angeles, arrested on drug charges after authorities found 4 ecstasy pills in his possession. By October 15, 2010, he was sentenced to 11 months in prison for violating probation, specifically for possessing ecstasy, testing positive for opiates, and associating with a convicted felon. This marked the second time T.I. served jail time, and both incidents are what 50 Cent constantly brings up. On top of that, T.I. and Tiny faced serious sexual assault allegations that gained major attention in 2021. Several women, and one man, claimed the couple had drugged, intimidated, kidnapped, or sexually assaulted them across California and Georgia. T.I. and Tiny have consistently denied these accusations. These are the very allegations 50 Cent now plans to explore in a documentary, taking their feud beyond music. Now we reach the present. 50 Cent has once again made headlines, teasing a documentary titled Surviving T.I. and Tiny. The announcement carried a sharp warning aimed at the Atlanta couple: you might want to talk to a crisis PR person. Social media exploded, reigniting discussion around one of the most toxic rap feuds in recent memory. Remember how quiet I stayed before the Diddy situation? Dame thought I wouldn't show up. I hope this doesn't ruin your promo tour. They're going to ask about your 20 sexual assault cases. That was the unmistakable threat. 50 Cent is drawing a direct line between what he did with the Diddy documentary and what he now plans for T.I. and Tiny. 50 Cent executive produced the infamous Netflix docuseries Sean Combs, The Reckoning, which shook pop culture to its core at the end of 2025. That documentary hit Diddy harder than social media could, giving structure and credibility to allegations that had floated around for years. Now, 50 Cent is signaling that he intends to do the same to T.I. and Tiny. The rumored project reportedly aims to dig into past allegations surrounding the couple. T.I. has responded to the documentary threat and the shade in 50 Cent's new releases. He wrote, "We can go bar for bar, hit for hit, or doc for doc." T.I. is not stepping back. He's challenging 50 Cent to confront him on every front, whether it's music, bars, or even documentaries. He emphasized that while he didn't want to engage, he couldn't stand by and let his family be attacked. Speaking to TMZ, he said, "Man, that stuff is last week, honestly. The only thing I'm here to do is defend, not defeat." Meanwhile, 50 Cent has made it clear he has no intention of returning to the rap booth. He isn't dropping diss tracks. Instead, he's leveraging his platform as a media mogul and producer to apply pressure in an entirely different, strategic way. That is what makes this feud particularly dangerous for the Harris family. 50 Cent is not battling like a rapper, he's fighting like a media executive. He's done it before with Diddy, and with others over the years. He turns personal conflicts into content, and if that content takes the shape of a documentary highlighting decades-old sexual assault allegations, the stakes for T.I. and Tiny could be devastating. Regardless of whether those allegations were ever proven in court, T.I. and his wife Toma Tiny Harris have consistently denied all past claims, and multiple lawsuits tied to those accusations have since been dismissed. Yet, 50 Cent is betting that a documentary can achieve what courts could not. He's wagering on public opinion. He's betting on the undeniable power of storytelling. And given what happened with the Diddy project, this is not a gamble anyone should underestimate. For King Harris, this places him in an impossible situation. He already has his own legal battles. He further complicated matters by dragging 50 Cent's deceased mother into the feud. Now, the man he confronted is threatening a documentary centered on his parents. At just 21 years old, a new father, with arrest records, warrants, and diss tracks on his resume, King is facing a fight far larger than he ever anticipated. The saga of King Harris isn't just celebrity drama, it's a lens on bigger societal pressures. Growing up in the spotlight, navigating privilege versus responsibility, and parents struggling to protect their children in a world eager to watch them stumble. T.I. warned King that the path he was on could lead to prison. He recognized the energy because he had lived it himself. Now, with 50 Cent threatening a documentary and past legal cases still looming over King, those warnings weigh heavier than ever. T.I. himself knows the stakes. Having faced arrests for drugs and weapons, and serving time behind bars, he's determined to steer his son away from repeating the same mistakes. The question remains whether 50 Cent will actually execute the documentary. Whether it's officially in production is still unknown, but 50 Cent has a track record for creating waves with mere teases. He posts, provokes, deletes, and watches the reaction unfold. For now, the rap battle may not be happening, but the drama between the two camps rages on. If 50 Cent does move forward with surviving T.I. and Tiny, this feud could shift from Instagram and diss track straight to the small screen. King Harris finds himself caught between a legal system he's been dodging and a beef he escalated. T.I. is fighting a war on multiple fronts, while 50 Cent sits back, observing, and plotting his next move. Documentary, social media campaign, or more trolling, one thing is clear: the Harris family is under more pressure than ever. For all his bravado, King Harris now faces the harsh reality that taking on a figure like 50 Cent carries consequences far beyond Instagram posts and diss tracks. The situation is still unfolding. No release date for the documentary has been confirmed. T.I. continues making music. King Harris continues posting. But one thing is certain: this is no longer just a rap beef.